This episode of the Fiction Writers Podcast is brought to you by the Novel Notebook. With each character and each setting, hundreds of details must be compiled and organized. Far too many for a writer, like you, to keep them cataloged in your brain. The Novel Notebook provides the answer. Visit www.fictionwriterspodcast.com/novel and quickly discover how to organize your materials and take your novel to the next level. Welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where you will discover tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Here you'll find new energy, new perspectives, new resources, and new ideas that will spark your creativity into a blaze of brilliance. It's easier than you think. Be sure you visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, get out your notebook, tune in, and let's get started.
Write in a way that draws the reader's attention to the scene and substance of the writing, rather than to the mood and temper of the author. My name is Lana McAra, and welcome to the Fiction Writers Podcast. Tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. One of my favorite books of all time for writing is The Elements of Style by Strunk and White. This little book, and it's so small, is just jam-packed full of great writing tips. And it has chapters, different sections that can help you to really bring your writing to the next level and also save you on a lot of editing bills. Editing is not cheap. And if you just take time to go through this, now I'm not saying that you need to read it cover to cover. Just read a few pages, put it down, then pick it up later, read another few pages, put it down, and absorb it. When I am in my writer's course, I tell my students, I want them to read this 20 times before the course is over. 20 times. Now, personally, I don't know how many times I've read it. When I read the book, I put the tick marks in the front. I don't think you can see that on the camera, but I put tick marks in the front when I finish. And this one has 4. And this is a new copy that I just got. My old copy kind of fell apart. But yeah, this is a book on writing style. And it has word usage, what words go with what, principles of composition, and misused expressions, and also an approach to style, which I find so helpful. This is E.B. White, who wrote Charlotte's Web. That's who authored this book. Now, his co-author, William Strunk, was already passed away when he wrote the first draft of this. This is edition number 4, I think. But his teacher, William Strunk, passed away, and he took his notes from his famous course that so many people raved about that E.B. White took, and he created this little manual of style. And it is a classic beyond the years. I highly recommend every author should have this book, whether you know a lot about grammar or not. It's not a grammar book. It's a style book. And one of them I read to you at the beginning is to write in a way that draws the reader's attention to the sense and substance of the writing rather than the mood and temper of the author. And one of the benchmarks of a good, solid, professional writer is that they disappear. They don't draw attention to themselves. They draw attention to the story. And so that means not a lot of rambling and personal thoughts, and just keep to the story. Tell the story. And don't pontificate on different points that you're passionate about. Save that for your blog or for another book, that's nonfiction. So place yourself in the background. Wow, was that ever a good point for me as a young writer to realize that the flowery stuff isn't what really will have people buying your books. It's the message of the story. Don't forget to tell the story. That's what you're there for. And then number 17, in the beginning part of the first chapter of the book, omit needless words. Very good advice. And I have another book that's all about that one point, omit needless words. But omitting needless words takes your writing down to the quick. It condenses. It's like reduction sauce when you're cooking. You boil it down and boil it down until you have the good stuff, the flavorful stuff, the stuff that is going to pull the reader right through the story in an effortless way where they don't wake up from the reader's trance. They stay in the book. And when it comes the end of a chapter, they've got to turn the page and read the next chapter. So I would suggest it's so inexpensive. Go on eBay, look in used bookstores, get The Elements of Style by Strunk and White. You will be so glad you did. Thank you so much for being with us today at the Fiction Writers Podcast. My name is Lana McAra. See you next time.
Thank you for tuning into the Fiction Writers Podcast with Lana McAra, where we share tips, tricks, and ideas for fiction that is #unputdownable. Remember to visit our website at www.fictionwriterspodcast.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Fiction Writers Podcast.